folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings Weekly Movie News Podcast. This week's news brought to you by the changing ocean tides. Yes, let's indeed start with some Oceans franchise news. So for a few years now, there has been a project flailing around, which was actually a prequel Oceans film, where a young Danny and Debbie Ocean are taught the art of the steal from their parents, originally casted to be Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie. After multiple directors were attached to the project, things are finally coming together. It sounds like the story will be very much the same, taking on a retro Oceans feel in the 60s or 70s. The director will now be Lee Isaac Chung, who had a moderate success last summer with Twisters and has a critically praised smaller film in 2020 called Minari. And now the actors who will play the Ocean parents, Margot Robbie is still attached, but for Daddy Ocean, it's been announced that Bradley Cooper will now be stepping into the role. Filming will be starting next year sometime, and the details of the plot are being kept a secret. But if that's not enough time hanging out in the ocean, it also appears that Oceans 14 will be underway next year as well. So yeah, 2 different Oceans movies filming around the same time. This one is a bit more fuzzy, but George Clooney has confirmed in an interview that a budget has gotten approval for Oceans 14, and it will be probably shooting in 9 or 10 months. He also said, though nothing official, that it's likely the original cast will be returning. Particularly, he said Matt Damon, Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts, and Don Cheadle. So very interesting for Warner Brothers. After the franchise was shelved following the Ocean's 8 release, it seems like Warner thinks it's been long enough and is really making a jump into the oceans. Some more reboot news here, kind of. It looks like Tangled over at Disney will be getting a new life. Not, however, a brand new animated film, but rather a live-action remake. Yes, so sticking in this lane that multiple studios are doing, Disney, of course, has been doing this for a while, and there has been some pretty successful live-action remakes. You know, we had How to Train Your Dragon this year, and then the very successful Lilo and Stitch. The live-action Tangled was actually happening, but then put on pause after the Snow White hiccup. But now the studio is moving forward, and Scarlett Johansson is in talks to play the lead, which would definitely give some star power to the film. Disney has a huge slate for this live-action, kind of double-dipping on the EP coming down the pike. In some sort of development is a live-action version of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Aristocats, The Sword in the Stone, Bambi, Robin Hood, and Hercules. So, oh boy, if you can't stand these live-action remakes, hold on tight, because I don't think there's an end in sight. We want to check in here on a Tom Daly winning actress, Danielle Deadwyler. So she's being eyed for the Ryan Coogler's reboot of The X-Files. Coogler has been working on the new X-Files since after the press tour of Sinners. This will be the major project for Coogler before he starts Black Panther 3, which is set for a 2028 release. Danielle Deadwyler is in talks to play one of the 2 main lead investigators, as casting for the project is underway. And this could be a very good project here, with it being a bit of a passion project that has been circling Coogler for 4 years now. So we'll see what we get with the new X-Files. M. Night Shyamalan looks to be entering the TV space in kind of a crazy way. So Shyamalan, our Keystone State director, does have a film coming out next year called Remain, but is already working on Season 1 of Magic 8 Ball. So toy company Mattel will be producing, and M. Night will be directing a series based on the classic Magic 8 Ball toy. But I have to say, it really might be in Shyamalan's lane, with kind of a dark horror-themed, suspenseful show revolving around characters getting creepy fortunes and what may happen in the future. You know, it's just surprising that he's doing TV and partnering with Mattel, of all companies, to do it. So we'll just have to see how this shakes out. And really the biggest question of all, will it be shot in Pennsylvania? Some other directors' news here with Sofia Coppola and her next film. The script is still in very early stages, but filming will be taking place next year. It will be a period piece taking place in the U.S., and it will be about a real person, though they say that it's about someone who really isn't all that well known. And longtime actress and collaborator Kirsten Dunst is set to star in the movie, and this will be the 4th time the 2 team up for a Coppola film. So no other details have been announced yet, but we'll see what's in store and who Sofia Coppola is looking to share a story about. And lastly, remembering Diane Keaton. She passed away over the weekend at the age of 79. The cause of her death is still unknown. Close friends have said that her health had appeared to deteriorate pretty quickly over the past few months, but only close family was in the know and keeping things very private over the past few weeks. Diane Keaton has been acting since 1970. She is known for her roles in Father of the Bride, Reds, The Family Stone, Something's Gotta Give, Manhattan, and of course Annie Hall. She was nominated for 4 Oscars in a leading role and won in 1978 for Annie Hall. She has worked on a ton of projects and actually has 3 projects that were in development or are in development still. So who knows? We still might have some movies with Diane Keaton coming out in the future. Now let's jump on over to the box office for this past weekend. So 5th highest grossing was The Conjuring Last Rites with $3.1 million. 4th was Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, with $3.5 million. 3rd was One Battle After Another with $6.8 million. 2nd for the weekend was newly released Roofman with $8.1 million. And the biggest movie at the box office this past weekend was newly released Tron Ares. Yes, the return of Tron after 15 years, making a less than expected, I have to say, $33.2 million. So, coming up this Thursday, Vincent Daly will be watching, rating, and reviewing. We are indeed covering all the Tron movies. So, from 1982, we have Tron, directed by Steven Linesberger. Then, from 2010, directed by Joseph Kosinski, the same guy who did F1 and Top Gun Maverick, we have Tron Legacy. And lastly, of course, in theaters, newly released, we do have Tron Ares, and that is directed by Joachim Ronen. So pretty pumped to talk about Tron, so stop by and give a listen for that episode. But that's it for your weekly movie news here, folks. We'll leave you today with a quote from an actress, Scarlett Johansson. I definitely believe in plastic surgery. I don't want to be an old hag. There's no fun in that. And all right, folks, the Daily Ratings weekly movie news podcast. That was it. See you on Thursday.